in the interest of Zion Forpa, cause number 90711D, in the interest of Christopher Frost. Mr. Trout is present in all cases on behalf of the Department of Family and Protective Services. And the mother, Kadisha Johns, is present along with her attorney, Savannah Kincaid, in all three cases. Mr. Hill is present in the Christopher Frost case on behalf of the father, Christopher Frost Sr. Mr. Frost Sr. is not present with us today. Mr. Hill, are you anticipating that he would be coming in, or?
No, no, Judge, I'm not. I haven't had any contact with him since he got out of jail.
All right. Okay, Jay Michelson is present on behalf of his client, David Forpa, who I do not have in the waiting room or logged in. Mr. Michelson, are you expecting your client?
No, Your Honor. He's been deported, and I've not had contact since his departure.
All right. Ms. Naranjo is present in the Rivera case on behalf of the father, Javier Rivera. He is not logged in my waiting room. Ms. Naranjo, same thing. Are you anticipating your client's attendance?
No, Your Honor, I've had no contact with Mr. Rivera.
All right. And Ms. Avalla is present on behalf of the children in all three cases. And none of the children are present with us today. All right, then. Mr. Trout, any announcements to make, or are we calling our first witness?
We're calling first witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then. Who we have up first?
Call Miss Reynolds, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Reynolds. You'll have to unmute for me.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give on trial today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Reynolds, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Shauna Reynolds.
And Ms. Reynolds, how are you employed?
I'm employed as a child protective investigator with the Department of Family and Protective Services.
And are you familiar with the cases we're here on today involving the Rivera child, the Forpa child, and the Frost child?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how are you familiar with those cases?
I was the investigator that initiated the case, and I was also the removal investigator.
Okay. And how did the department become involved in the case involving these three children?
So I received a immediate call out by local law enforcement on April 15th. Miss Kadisha Johns appeared to be under the influence and was combative with officers. She was trying to jump into other people's vehicles and attempted to flee the scene. And she had her children with her. So I was requested to respond immediately to the hospital to meet with Miss Johns.
Okay. And you stated with local law enforcement, where did this take place?
So initially they were kind of on the side of the road and then transported her to the hospital for medical attention. And that's where I met them at, was our local hospital.
Okay. And what city was this?
It was in Beaumont, Texas, in Jefferson County.
Okay. Were you able to meet with Miss Johns at the hospital?
Yes, I was able to meet with her.
Okay. And how did your conversation go? What did you talk about when you met with her?
So I introduced myself to Miss Johns. I explained the reason for the department's involvement. And then I just gathered some background information from her. She shared with me that she had recently came to the Jefferson County area from the Harris County area about 2 weeks prior to that date. Due to domestic violence with her boyfriend. She shared that she is not from this area. She was actually from the Amarillo, Texas area. And so she didn't have really any local support here for her and the children.
Okay. Did Miss Johns tell you what had happened that day that led up to you being called?
So when I asked her about the incident, she stated that she recalls she was walking with another resident from the women's shelter with their children, or her children, and then also Miss John's children, that she had smoked a cigarette and started to feel funny afterwards, and then did not really remember anything that happened after she started feeling funny.
Okay. Did Miss Johns discuss any run-ins with law enforcement outside of this?
So I had learned from law enforcement that there were 3 active warrants for her arrest. And so whenever I asked her about those warrants, she said that she really just kind of denied any kind of criminal involvement.
Okay. When you finished your conversation with Ms. Johns, what happened then?
So I discussed with her, you know, what could safety look like should she have a positive drug test. It was believed by law enforcement that she was under the influence of an unknown substance. Once I spoke with medical staff, she actually did test positive for marijuana. So once I addressed that with her, she stated that she didn't have anyone in the area that could come and care for the children. And law enforcement confirmed that they were going to arrest her for the 3 warrants. And so we ended up having to conduct an exigent removal.
Okay. And at that time, you believe the exigent was in the best interest of the children based upon mom going to jail and nobody to be able to care for the children at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was what was approved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the children were taken into care at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did y'all have an adversary hearing in your area?
Yes, we did have an adversary hearing at the 14-day mark or a little bit before.
Okay. And the court at that time, was Miss Johns still in jail at that time or was she out?
I believe Miss Johns had actually released from jail at that time. But we still conducted the hearing and the children still remained in care because we were transferring to actually her primary county.
Okay. And so y'all were transferring the case to Potter County at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your court at the adversary granted the department's wish for temporary managing conservatorship?
Yes, sir. They continued.
Okay. And then the case was transferred to Potter County?
Yes.
Okay. And you believe all of that based upon the circumstances that was all in the best interest of the 3 children?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kincaid.
No questions.
Ms. Naranjo.
Ms. Reynolds, did you have any contact with Mr. Rivera?
No, ma'am. Whenever I asked Miss Johns about the father for Mr. Rivera, she stated that she believed he was in Amarillo, Texas, but had no contact information for him. And when I asked the child, she also did not have any contact information for him.
What efforts did you make to locate any contact information for Mr. Rivera?
We did diligent searches, or we requested diligent searches for his contact information, and I believe they were returned and they were unsuccessful.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Similar questions, Ms. Reynolds. Did you have any contact with David Forpa?
No, sir. Same thing. I asked Ms. Johns about his information. She stated that she believed he was actually deported, and she had no contact information for him. We also conducted diligent searches for him, and they were unsuccessful.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Hill.
No questions, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Avalla.
No questions.
Okay. Mr. Trout.
I have a couple of follow-up questions, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. Reynolds, parents' attorneys asked about their clients. You had found out that the named father for Neriah was Javier Rivera.
Yes, she identified Javier Rivera for her father. Yes.
Okay. And for Zion, David Forpa was identified as the father?
Yes, David.
And then for Christopher Frost Sr. was identified as the father. Is that correct?
Yes, and it was learned that he was incarcerated in TDCJ at the time of our removal.
Okay. Were you ever able to get in touch with him before?
No, sir, we weren't.
Okay. All right. But your understanding he was in TDCJ?
Yes, and we did a diligent search as well on him, and it came back as it confirmed he was in TDCJ.
Okay. So he was the only father you were able to locate where his actual whereabouts were?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with the knowledge of what went on with mother, not knowing where two of the fathers were and one being incarcerated, you believe it's best interest of the child to move forward with the removal? And-
Yes, it was in the best interest of the children.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody have any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, then. You can call your next witness. And is Ms. Reynolds free to go at this time?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No
No,
objection.
no objection.
All right, thank you, Ms. Reynolds. We appreciate your time today. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good one as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. And Ms. Collins.
All right. Who's next?
You call Kadisha Johns, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Johns, you'll have to unmute for me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You have your right hand up?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Okay.
You promise to tell the truth?
I promise to tell everything.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, would you state your name for the record, please?
Kadisha Johns.
And Ms. Johns, are you the mother to the three children we're here on today?
Yes, sir.
Neriah, Christopher, and Zion?
Yes, sir.
You heard the testimony from the investigator just then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have some warrants for your arrest when the removal happened?
No, I didn't. I formally didn't know that they were warrants.
Okay.
I looked on the Potter County Register and they didn't, my name was not on there when I left.
Okay.
So I didn't know.
Were you arrested for warrants?
In Beaumont, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Were those warrants out of Potter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was one of those warrants for a falsification of drug test results?
Yes.
And was one of them for accident involving damage to vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibits number 1 and number 2. They're certified copies of two of the cases that we just discussed, the falsification of drug test results and the accident involving out of Potter County. They are the complaint, information, judgment, and the warrant for her, Ms. John's arrest.
Okay, and you said 1 and 2? Okay, here's 1.
Yes, And I'll clarify on that, Your Honor. Exhibit number 1 is the complaint information for the falsification of drug test, the judgment of conviction, the warrant for her arrest that was issued in March of last year of 2024, and then a motion to dismiss that motion to revoke that was recently filed.
Okay, I'm just looking through it real quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, any objection to 1?
No objection.
No
Objection.
objection.
All right, then petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted. Okay, 2.
And yes, ma'am. Exhibit number 2 is the complaint information, the order deferring adjudication. The state's motion to revoke, or an order on state's motion to revoke the probation, the warrant from March of 2024, and the judgment adjudicating guilt that was recently done.
All right, any objection to 2?
No objection. No
No,
objection.
objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioners exhibit 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, you recently took care of your criminal cases, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They dismissed the falsification of drugs test revocation. Are you still on probation for that charge?
No, I'm not on probation at all. They gave me time served on all my charges.
Okay, all right. So you have a guilty or a conviction for the falsification of the drug test.
No, they told me that they had dropped that charge before I even went to court. So I only pled guilty to the hit and runs. That's the only thing I pled guilty to.
Yes, ma'am. But they dismissed the motion to revoke. You still had already pled guilty to the accident or to the falsification, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And then you did time served on the other 3 charges.
yes.
Okay. All right. Do you know where Javier Rivera is?
I don't.
When was your last contact with him?
My last contact with him was at the beginning of this year. I have not heard from him now. I have not seen him. And when I have seen him, I was walking to my oldest daughter's house to give her something. That's when I seen him riding by and he stopped me. But other than that, I have not had no conversation.
Okay. When you saw him at the first year, did y'all discuss any of this case?
We did, but in his mind, it went from we're talking about Neriah. It went from talking to Neriah with us being in a relationship, and I just don't want to deal with that. It's all about my child right now. So it's always like that with him. It's always us getting back together, and that's not the case.
Okay. But he was aware that there was from your conversation, your understanding that he was aware of a CPS case.
Yes.
Okay. What about Mr. Forpa? When was your last contact with him?
Couple years. I haven't really thought like the beginning of this case. That's the last time I talked to him, but he is aware of the case also.
Okay. And is it your understanding he is no longer in the United States?
Yes, he told me he's been deported back to Liberia, Africa, where he's from.
Okay. What about Christopher Frost? When was your last contact with him?
June on our June 4th on our son's birthday.
Okay. And how did you make that contact?
My son last week before his birthday, he asked me to ask his dad what was he going to get him for his birthday so I can get it to bring to him to the visit. He started talking about he wasn't going to do nothing, and that was the last conversation with him.
Okay. And when you say wasn't going to do nothing, you mean in the CPS case?
With the birthday thing, with our son's birthday gift, but he knows about the situation, and I told him, I even brought that up too with him on our son's birthday. It's like he didn't care. It wasn't it wasn't his problem. He didn't care.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask that the court take judicial notice of the record. Mr. Rivera was published on for this case in March 21st of 2025 for service. David Forpa was posted and published on social media on September 9th of 2024. And Christopher Frost was personally served on May 8th of 2024 for these cases.
All right, I'll take judicial notice of those service methods on each respective father.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Jones, when was the last time you used any type of narcotics?
last year when Christina was my caseworker, and that was when I had twisted my ankle and went to the hospital, and I smoked marijuana. Like I told her, I smoked marijuana that day, and that was it. I have never used no other drug but marijuana, and that's my honest to God truth.
And is that in your whole life you're talking about?
Yes, that's my whole, since I was 16, that's all I did was smoke marijuana. I never did any other drug, don't know how any other drug affects my body, never tried it, never been around it, none. Don't know what it looked like, don't know where to get it from, so no. And
Have you had drug screens in this case?
yes, I've go every time they tell me to go take a drug test, I'm there. I don't have no problem because I know I've been clean. I don't have no excuse to go or try to pretend. Like if I knew I was on doing drugs, why would I go and do a drug screen knowing that I'm doing drugs? Like it doesn't make sense.
Ms. Jones, have you had a conversation with Mr. Ivy about your drug screens?
Yes, I have.
Did
When
did he tell you any concerns of your drug screens?
when I first did a drug screen for him, that was at the beginning of August before our court date in August. And I've been taking my medication since the middle of May is when I started getting my medications. And I just recently upped my dosage in July. So, and that's the only thing that I've been taking. I showed him the prescriptions that I take. He knew that I took medications because of the last court hearing.
Okay. Did Mr. Ivy discuss concerns with your drug screens?
Yes.
Okay. And did those concerns show your prescribed medications?
From what was told to me, the place that I go to get my drug screens, I asked the lady that she's always did my drug screens. I asked her, I said, I'm on these medications. Do they not test for these medications when they go? She's like, no, they do not test for those medications.
Yes. So
So
did your medications, was that part of your conversation with Mr. Ivy?
yes,
Okay. And your concerns were you were taking those medications?
I take them every day.
Okay. But those were not the concerns you and Mr. Ivy were talking about. Is that correct?
No, he's basically talking about methamphetamines and cocaine, and I never did neither one.
Okay. But those were concerns that Mr. Ivy had.
Yes.
And that came from your last drug screens.
My last 2 drug screens, yes.
Okay. What did you state to Mr. Ivy about those concerns?
I told him I have never did methamphetamine or cocaine. Never tried it, never don't know where to get it. I told him the only thing I've been doing is taking my medicine regularly. I take it every night before I go to bed. When I leave, I'm always here at the house. If I'm not doing nothing that has to do with my kids or going to interviews or doctor's appointments or visitation or looking for houses, that's all I do. And at 5 o'clock every day, I'm back at home. My mom she's here to vouch for me, but I don't do drugs. I never did no drug before but marijuana.
Ms. Johns, are you currently working?
No, I got an interview tomorrow.
Okay.
I've been putting an application. Every time I put an application, they don't hire me. They go with somebody else. So I've been putting in applications. I just put in 2 applications last week and I got interviews tomorrow.
Okay. When was the last time you worked?
May.
May?
Yes. Well, at a real job, which was Amazon, but I was working from home and I quit that job just recently.
Why did you quit that job?
Because they wasn't paying me, so I quit it, and they wasn't sending me my check stubs or anything. So I quit that job because I wasn't getting nowhere.
When you say they weren't paying you, do you mean you weren't making enough money or you were not getting paychecks?
I wasn't getting no type of payment, no paychecks, no nothing.
What type of job were you doing for them?
My uncle's wife had put me on a job helping people with insurance, Medicaid, you know, and if single parents needed some type of bill to be paid, we was able to help them with that. So yeah, I
I'm
got the
sorry.
information.
Okay, I'm sorry. You said you were working for Amazon.
Yes, that was at the beginning. I was working for both places, but I was working at Amazon, going back and forth like in the work outside world.
Okay. So my question is, what were you doing for Amazon?
I was packaging the stuff that people was getting and putting them inside the bags to get delivered the same day.
Okay. And were you having to clock in?
Yes.
Okay. So they had you on a payroll if you were having to clock in, correct?
Yeah, yes, but it was a thing to where you had to get a schedule. You have to go online, pick a schedule. If you don't get to that schedule first, it's like first come, first serve. So if you don't hit it first, then you have to wait until they have another shift available.
Okay. But my question is, if you were on the schedule and you were on the payroll and clocking in, you are saying you never received a paycheck from them?
Oh no, I got paid for that.
Okay.
They owe me one paycheck I haven't still received because something messed up with on my end, but we had got it figured out.
Okay. So just to be clear, you quit the Amazon job because
Yes.
and you stated because you weren't getting paid.
No, I was talking about the working from home job. When I was working at Amazon, we wasn't able to get a shift, and it was hard to get a shift. So what's the point of working somewhere where it's hard to get a shift and you got to fight with other people to get a shift? And it was hard for me to get back and forth to work when there's no bus, no transportation goes out there. So yes, I quit that job because I wasn't getting nowhere with that job.
Was the little bit of work and pay you were getting there better than not having any job at all?
Um, No, because I do hair on the side and I get paid more doing hair than was working at Amazon.
Okay. Were you aware of family plans of service?
Yes,
Okay. And you're aware of what the department was asking you to do, is that correct?
yes,
Okay. And are you aware those were made in order of the court?
yes,
Okay. And you were giving copies of those family plans of service, is that correct?
yes,
Okay. With your services, is part of it financial stability?
yes.
Okay. So at this time, would having the job with Amazon be better than not having a job right now?
At a point, if I had a better job other than Amazon, yes.
Okay. Where do you live right now, Ms. Jones?
I stay with my mom.
Okay. Or do you live there to help your mom out, or do you live there because you can't afford to have another place right now?
I help my mom out.
Okay. If you needed to move out, could you stand on your own 2 feet? Could you have your own place and afford it?
Yes,
Okay. How do you do that without having a job?
because like I said, I do hair.
Okay.
And everybody comes to me to get their hair done because it's a certain hairstyle that everybody wants me to do on them, and I get paid. I do hair real good, so I do get paid, and I do get paid a lot of money.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll pass the witness at this time.
All right, Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding your employment, approximately how many places do you think that you've applied?
I say about 50 or more.
Okay, have you gotten any follow-ups or interviews over the course of those applications?
Yes, I've got plenty of interviews, and then I do have emails stating that they discard my application.
Okay, but do you have any applications out now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what applications do you have out now?
I have Denny's on I-40. I have Wingstop on 24th. I have UniFirst over there by off of I-40. I didn't put in restaurant jobs, McDonald's, Burger King, Sonic, all of those. I've been on Indeed putting in applications. I even put in home health care applications, and that's all on Indeed. I got proof of that on my Indeed.
Okay, and you said you have interviews tomorrow, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And where are those at?
Wingstop and UniFirst and
Okay.
Denny.
And if you were to be hired at one of those jobs, how would you get to and from work?
They're not a far distance. They're basically walking distance, so I can walk to and from.
Okay, is public transportation an option because it wasn't one out of Amazon?
Yes, public transportation is an option for these 3 jobs. Yes.
Okay, and regarding the housing, are you looking at other avenues for housing right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what are those options that you're looking at?
I done went to churches to see. There's a place right here on Spring that helps with single parent, they got their own apartments. I done went to them. Didn't get nowhere with them. I went to, Buccaneer's place. They told me that I have to have my kids and are supposed to be in school. I didn't went to the workforce, tried to get help from them. I'm on Panhandle Hood right now. I didn't call Martha's Home. I didn't call Bay City Mission. I didn't call Downtown Women's Center. I didn't call all these places, and they're all have waiting lists and they all full.
Okay, have you pursued anything with the HUD housing?
Yes, I'm on Panhandle, and I'm number 600 and something.
Okay,
And I've been on that waiting list since March of this year.
okay. And regarding your mom's house, what kind of is it, house, apartment, what is it?
It's an apartment.
Okay, and how many rooms is it?
It's a 1-bedroom.
Okay, and does it seem like a safe place for you to live?
Yes.
If there were to be if the department or anyone else asked you to move out for any reason, would you be willing and able to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Naranjo?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson.
Just briefly, could you tell me the last time you had contact with David Forpa?
I'd say about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Hill?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Avalla?
Miss Johns, are you visiting regularly with the kids?
Yes.
Okay. How do those visits go?
They start off okay, but then Neriah will pull me aside and tell me she's been cutting on herself and she's ready to come home and she just don't feel safe where she's at. And I have letters that she has wrote me saying.
Okay, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm going to object as hearsay on those statements from Neriah.
Okay, sustained. Ms. Avalla, is there something further?
Let me
Yeah.
change the follow-up question. Do
Okay.
you believe that your communication with Neriah is helpful to her?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that your visits with the other children are helpful to them?
Leon, yes, because she gets to call me every Tuesday and Thursday also. But Christopher, it's like he doesn't do so well through the Zoom. It's like he wants to be in person, and that's the only time I can, talk to him, because other than that on Zoom, he's like distance.
Christopher's pretty active, right? So it's hard to keep him contained just on a computer screen for a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Trout?
A couple of follow-up, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, during your discussions with Mr. Ivy, about the concerning drug screens, did you ever state that you would go to rehab?
Yes, I did, just to prove a point. Like, I even told him.
Objection, non-responsive, Your Honor. She answered it off the front.
Okay, yeah, you answered the question, so, all right.
So why would you say you would go to rehab if you say you've never used any drug?
Because when he asked me to take a drug test and I did that, and it came back methamphetamines, I told him I would do another drug test. If I'm so adamant of doing something, the only reason why I told him yes is because I'm not getting nowhere here in Amarillo. I'm not getting the help that I need. Housing is doing this. He told me that if I go, they would get me on housing like between 1 and 3 months. That's the only reason why I agreed to it. Because I'm not getting nowhere here in Amarillo. I've been here all my life. So of course I'm gonna agree to something better for my life and my kids' life.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions?
Just a brief follow-up, Your Honor.
Okay.
What are the two prescriptions that you're currently on?
Seroquel and Lexapro.
Okay. What is your understanding, if you have one, as to whether those will show up on a drug screen or not?
That's the only drug I've been taking is my medication, so that's the only thing it could be. I don't do drugs.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, anybody else have any follow-up questions?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and I want to just be clear. So, Ms. Johns, you gave or showed Mr. Ivy your prescriptions, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at all times, you've had a valid prescription for those two
Yes,
medications?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Mr. Truck?
I'd call Mr. Ivy, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ivy, you'll raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ivy, would you state your name for the record, please?
Tucker Ivy.
And Mr. Ivy, how are you employed?
I'm a permanency specialist through St. Francis.
And are you familiar with the case that we're here on today involving the Rivera, the Forpa, and the Frost child?
Yes, sir.
And are you familiar with Mom Kadisha Johns?
Yes.
Okay. Start out, dads. Have you been able to get in touch with Javier Rivera?
I have. He'll answer my phone calls every now and then, but every time I get to the point where I'm saying, send me your location, I'll text him. He refuses to give me an address and he just says he's going to send it to me and then never does.
Okay.
And so,
when was your last conversation or contact with him?
3 weeks ago.
Okay. And what was said during that conversation?
I talked about how late in the case it was. I talked about this court hearing and I said I need to see him in person so we can go over the family plan and like how the case is going to look. And he said, okay, I'll send you my address. And he said, I'm at work right now. I'll text you. And then he hung up and he never texted me. And he wouldn't answer my phone calls again.
Did he ever tell you where he worked?
No, he just said he worked construction and that he goes from site to site.
Okay. Total, how many conversations would you say you've had with him?
3.
Okay. And that's over, when did you first get on this case?
On June 30th.
Okay. So from June till now, you've had 3 conversations total, and he's never given you a location or address.
Yes, and one of those conversations was him literally answering the phone saying, I'm at work, I'm too busy, and then hanging up.
Okay. But he's aware of who you are
Yes.
and what you're calling about.
Yes.
Okay. What about David Forpa? Have you ever had any contact with him?
No, there was 3 Facebook pages that go by David Forpa, and I've messaged all of those pages, and I heard back on one of them just saying that I had the wrong guy.
Okay.
But they were located in Libya, Africa.
All 3 of them were?
Yeah, those 3 David Forpas in Libya, or somewhere in Africa, the area that he's in. But yeah, I messaged all 3 of them and I hadn't got a response. And then we had one number on file and I called it, but no response there.
Okay. Have you had a chance to run accurate search or anything on him?
Yes.
And has anything come back?
No, nothing worthwhile.
Okay. What about Christopher Frost? Have you had any contact with him?
I have not.
What efforts have you gone through to try to contact him?
The diligent search and accurate search came up with some addresses, which the people there said they didn't know who he was, or there was no one there. And the phone numbers we had on file, no one answered.
Okay. Have any of the 3 fathers reached out to you asking about the case or about their child?
No.
And we've been in this case for how long?
18 months.
Okay. And there were service plans ordered in this court?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether any of the fathers, Mr. Forpa, Mr. Rivera, or Mr. Frost, are able to provide the necessary shelter and care for any of the children?
No.
Is that due, and that's due to you being unable to contact or to work with them?
Yes.
Okay. Today, are you asking to terminate the parental rights of David Forpa as to Zion and Christopher Frost as to Christopher Jr. and Javier Rivera as to Neriah based upon constructive abandonment?
Yes.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you receive the exhibits I sent out?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what exhibit number 3 is?
Is that the family plan?
You tell me. You look at it and tell me. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that family plan of service?
Yes, sir.
Was it filed with this court in June of 2024?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this a family plan that is generated by St. Francis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what are family plans of service?
There are a list of services required by the parent in order to make progress towards becoming an effective parent that's capable of taking care of their child or children.
And are do these services help you gauge as a caseworker whether a parent has made certain changes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that the goal of these?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And to provide the parent support and services to reach those goals?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 3 is the original family plan of service that Mr. Ivy testified to that was filed with this court in June of 2024.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 3 will be admitted.
Thank you. And Mr. Ivy, that's also the family plan of service for Ms. Johns, correct?
Yes.
During a course of a case, when the case first started, family plans of service are they made orders of the court during the status hearings?
Excuse me?
Are the family plans of service made in order of the court during the status hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and was that done in this case?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 4. It's the status hearing order that was filed in this court on June 18th of 2024.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioner's exhibit 4 will be admitted.
Thank you. Mr. Ivy, can you look on exhibit number 4 on page 5 for me, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you see under the it is ordered, there's some handwritten notes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Under that portion, this court ordered St. Francis to do amended service plans, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that those would be made in order at future hearing? All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Did St. Francis do amended service plans?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Your Honor, just for the sake of time, I would ask to admit exhibits 5, 6, and 7. They are the amended additional service plans for mom that were filed into this case in January 28th of 2025.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibits 5, 6, and 7 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ivy, what services has mom done for the department?
She completed her parenting classes.
Okay.
She did the OSAR. She completed her psychological evaluation. She continued to do counseling and did well past the minimum 6. She did her domestic violence class and anger management class, and she completed her RBT.
Okay. Was mom asked to stay clean during this case and to present to drug screens?
Yes.
Okay. And has mom presented to drug screens?
Yes, she has.
Okay. Mom had some clean drug screens, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And recently, as discussed with Ms. Johns, we've had some concerning drug screens. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You heard Ms. Johns state a while ago about methamphetamine and cocaine. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have conversations with Ms. Johns about those?
Yes, sir.
Did she tell you why she may have shown up for those? Or
Why she may have shown.
why she may have shown positive for those drugs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was that?
She stated for the methamphetamine, she believed it was because of her prescription drug. I think Seroquel was the one
Okay.
she stated would make her test positive, but when she told me, she said it would make her test positive for methadone, which I believe is an opioid. And then I showed her that she had tested positive for methamphetamine, and she said it was because of the vapor rub that she's been using.
Okay.
And she did show me a Google search that showed if you use vapor rub, it can make a positive test, but her levels were at 3580 for methamphetamine.
Okay.
And that was for her first test on August 7th, whereas on September 30th,
Non-responsive. He's answered the question.
Sustained. You can ask another question.
Thank you, Your Honor. The most recent drug screens that mom did were at the end of September. You took her on September 30th, is that correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And is that screen the one that showed the cocaine that mom mentioned?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you talk to her about those screens?
Yes, sir.
What did mom say about those?
She believes it's because of the over-the-counter medication that she's taking and possibly her prescriptions.
Okay.
She screenshot me some of the over-counter medications that she uses. And
Okay,
she
that
said,
was going to be my next question. Did mom give you the her prescriptions, a list of her prescriptions?
she did.
Okay. Along with that, though, did Miss Johns give you any doctor's note or any authoritative measure as to these drugs will make you show this screen? Okay.
No, sir.
What the reasons Miss Johns has given you is something she's looked up on her own, from your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, and I say that because you mentioned a Google search.
Mhm.
Okay. Did she ever give you a doctor's note stating these could possibly make my patient show positives?
No, sir.
Okay. This case, you heard the testimony early from the investigator, correct?
Yes.
And you've seen the removals for the affidavit of removal, correct?
Yes, sir.
You heard the testimony that mom stated she had smoked a cigarette and then got dizzy, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we had a concern at the original removal for possible drug use.
Yes, sir.
We're now 18 months later, and we still have an issue of drug screens coming back positive.
Yes, sir.
Does that give you a concern as a caseworker?
Yes, sir.
Looking at the family plans of service, do you have concerns that mom's behaviors have not changed?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe, as the caseworker, that these things coming up at the end of the case are a dangerous situation to put children back into?
Yes, sir.
And that, as a caseworker, is that part of your job to look at these situations
Yes, sir.
and to make decisions based upon your experience on the changes that parents have made?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where are the children placed right now?
One is in the Amarillo Children's Home here in Amarillo. Another one is placed in Houston, and another one's placed in Leveland at a facility called Flyer.
Okay. How are the children doing?
Neriah, since she's gotten new house parents, is not doing well. She doesn't get along with the house dad and has told me that she believes that she's starting to see symptoms that she thinks she's bipolar. She saw a psychiatrist on the 5th, and I haven't heard from the case manager what results came from that. Sorry.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I'm a little late with this, but if we're going to go into specific needs of the children, I would ask that we go off of YouTube just for a few moments while we do that.
Okay, do we have more ground to cover on that?
I believe so, in terms of the other children at least.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we're gonna go off for this limited line of questioning. I'll close the courtroom, but when we're done with that, everybody remind me, we need to start up again.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Javier, I'll ask again, do you believe termination of mother's parental rights to all 3 children is in the best interest of the children?
Yes, sir.
And is that due to our issues of the substance abuse at the beginning and still having concerns with it at this time?
Yes, sir.
And with mother having works services, we still have what appears to be no change in her behaviors.
Yes, sir.
And are you asking, I believe I asked this earlier, but are you asking based upon the D&E grounds at this time?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I think we're missing Savannah and Miss Johns. I
Oh,
think
you know
we're
what? We
still-
are. They went into the breakout room. I'm so sorry. Okay, everybody just hang on and we'll either get Jody to read that back or we'll just, yeah, probably Jody, I'm sorry to do that to you, but we'll probably just have you read that back. Thank you, Ms. Avalla. I'll give them just about another minute and then I'll go ahead and close those out.
You may
Okay,
have,
Ms. Kincaid, I'm moving her over.
okay, that's what I was gonna say. You may have to bring her back in.
Okay, all right, we've got her back. Okay, my apologies, Ms. Kincaid, Ms. Johns. We started, I forgot you were still in the breakout room. I'm gonna have the court reporter read back. It's very little, but I'll have her read back the questions and answers.
Okay, question is, pick up where we left off a while ago. Mr. Ivy, I'll ask again. Do you believe termination of mother's parental rights to all 3 children is in the best interest of the children? Answer, yes, sir. Question, and is that due to our issues of the substance abuse at the beginning and still having concerns with it at this time? Answer, yes, sir. Question, and with mother having worked services, we still have what appears to be no change in her behaviors? Answer, yes, sir. Question, are you asking, I believe I asked this earlier, but are you asking based upon the D&E grounds at this time? Answer, yes, sir. And then Ms. Avalla reminded us that we're missing people.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Trout.
Just so I make sure I've asked this. Mr. Ivy, you are recommending also and requesting the court to terminate the parental rights of the 3 fathers to their respective children based upon constructive abandonment at this time.
Yes, sir.
And you believe that's also in the best interest of the children.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so you got the case, was it in June or was it when did you take over the case for Miss Johns?
I was assigned on June 30th, but I didn't start working the case until July.
Okay, and since the time that you've had the case, has Miss Johns stayed in contact with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Has she been cooperative with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like that she's been candid with you?
She's been honest with me for the most part, except for the drug screens.
She's gone to the drug screens you've asked her to go to,
Yes, ma'am.
and she provided you a copy of her prescription medications.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so far as the services that have been worked, there's no remaining services for her to complete.
No, ma'am. Just the providing clean drug screens and having stable housing and income.
Okay. Do you know how long she's lived with her mother?
I believe it's been about, no, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. And has she provided you any copies of, attempts to gain employment during this case?
No, ma'am. She just told me about her interviews that she goes on.
Okay. And does she, have you had any conversations with her mother, Miss Herring?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has Miss Herring indicated to you that she'd be willing to be a placement for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you looked into doing a home study on Miss Herring?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are we on progress for that?
The background checks, the CPS history and background checks are still pending, or not pending, but waiting for approval from my supervisor. And one of the bigger concerns is Kadisha still lives there. But, well, I understand that she'll move too if it comes down to her being placed, or the kids being placed there. But at the moment, it's still pending with my supervisor and director.
Okay. And not to go into any of the things that we discussed in previously, do you think that it would be beneficial to the children for Miss John's parental rights to be terminated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think it would be in their best interest for them not to have contact with their mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
What's the size of grandmother's home?
Well, the grandmother's home is the 1-bedroom apartment that Kadisha currently lives in.
Okay.
And then there's a great aunt who has I believe it's a 2-bedroom home.
Okay, but different locations, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Ms. Naranjo.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Michelson.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hill,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Avalla.
The home that Miss Johns is living in, her mother's home, other than it being small, is there any safety concerns about her living there?
No.
So is grandmother an appropriate person for Miss Johns to be around?
Yes, ma'am.
Is she an appropriate person potentially for the children to be around?
Yes, ma'am.
The only concern is that, well, one concern is that it's small and there's not enough room for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
children there. Okay. And then the other concern is that Miss Johns isn't showing her ability to kind of stand alone.
Yes, ma'am.
If there are situations where parents live with extended family.
Yes, ma'am.
So that could be a situation that could at some point be considered stable housing.
Are you referring to Kadisha staying with her mother?
Yes.
Okay. If I guess, but I feel Kadisha has stated multiple times that she still wants a place of her own, and I don't think there's enough room for the kids. It is 2 small bedrooms, or one small bedroom and then 1 small living room.
But at this point, we're not at the point of moving any children back with Miss Johns.
No, ma'am.
So it's okay for her to be living with her mom right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Back in it looks like April, maybe, Miss Johns did give a completely clean hair follicle, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And she's provided a number of clean UAs.
Yes, ma'am. I believe most of her UAs have been clean. It's been the hair follicles that test positive.
And those were not until very, very recently.
Yes, ma'am. Her clean hair follicle was April 15th.
Okay. But the concerning ones were just recently.
Yes, ma'am. Here it was the first one was August 7th.
I pass witness.
Mr. Trout?
Mr. Ivy, speaking of the hair follicles, the clean hair follicle in April is actually mom's only clean one throughout the life of this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that is stemming from about 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken, hair follicles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also heard mom state earlier that she doesn't use any drugs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we only have one clean hair follicle and all other hair follicles have drugs in her system, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody have any further questions for Ms.
Just
Johnson?
one quick follow-up.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Savannah.
Ms. Jones, you weren't the caseworker towards the beginning of the case, is that right?
Sorry, is that for me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ivy, you weren't the caseworker at the beginning of the case, is that correct?
No, ma'am. Christina Hunter was the caseworker at the beginning, I believe, until June when I took over, or July.
Okay. And has Ms. Johns been upfront with you about marijuana use in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ivy?
Briefly, Your Honor.
Go right
So
ahead.
if the department isn't looking at returning any of the children to Ms. Johns today, what would be the disadvantage to naming Ms. Johns the possessory conservator of the children, since there's not any other permanency goal at this time?
We wouldn't be able to look for other families that would be capable of taking care of the children, such as using the TER website or other means of adoption.
But at this time, you're looking at placing the children with family, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Well, with those are 2 options that we have.
Okay, but right now the department doesn't have any other permanency goals for the children.
No.
Okay, so if she were to be given a possessory conservatorship, the department would still be determining where the children live, whether it's with family or with non-family.
Yes, ma'am. But I believe if she was given possessory conservatorship, there would be exposure to substance. Is that correct? If she's around the kids?
Well, she's around the kids now, isn't she?
She sees them and yeah, she sees them for her visitation.
Okay, and those visits are beneficial to the children.
Yes, ma'am.
And it would be in the children's best interest for the visits to continue.
I believe the best interest is termination.
Would it be in the best interest of the children to continue to have visits with their mother?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you just testified that the children benefit from the visits with their mother. Is that what you just testified to?
Yeah, I believe if it comes down to whether or not we terminate on her, I believe termination is the best option.
Okay, is possessory conservatorship something that could be beneficial if the children are getting visits with their mother?
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'll pass witness.
All right, anybody else have any further questions?
I apologize, Your Honor. I did have some questions I was going to ask.
No apology necessary.
Mr. Ivy, the three children in care, they have an older sister, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she's here in Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am. She's placed with the great aunt.
Okay. And she's not a party to our case.
No.
Okay. But she joins mom in the visits with the siblings, is that
Yes,
correct? Okay. And is that contact helpful to the children as well?
Yes, ma'am.
I pass witness.
How old is that sibling?
I believe she's 15. I don't know her exact age, but I know she's older than Neriah.
Ms. Johns, you can unmute.
She's 13.
13. All right, thank you. Okay. All right, any other questions for Mr. Ivy?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Ivy, I'm gonna ask you a couple things.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, does St. Francis have any concerns about whether or not this sibling group can be kept together?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
believe
we've got two children that are having some serious problems right now. And would you agree that they are not likely to end up in a legal risk home probably anytime soon?
Yes, ma'am. Is that meaning like a foster home?
Yeah, well, or an adopt, I mean, a legal risk, meaning like foster to adopt.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
And we've got one child that we're very close to getting with family, it sounds like. But the aunt isn't a possibility for the other two children
No, ma'am.
in their current situation. Is she a possibility if those behaviors and things vastly improve?
No, ma'am. I believe, according to her, she is older, and so I think she's just not willing to take on two younger children.
Okay. Right. Okay. Anybody have anything further for Mr. Ivy before we
Not this time,
move
Your Honor.
on? Okay, thank you, Mr. Ivy. All right, Mr. Trout, any additional witnesses?
Your Honor, I'd call Ms. Johns back to the stand, please.
Okay, Ms. Johns, you are still under oath. You'll just unmute.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, you have an older daughter that lives with the great aunt?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you not have custody of her?
Because I have custody of my daughter. I have full custody of my daughter. The only reason why my daughter is over there is because my aunt is helping me get on my feet, and she had both of my daughters at the time to help me.
How long has she lived there?
Probably for a couple years.
Was it before this case started?
Yes.
Okay. Another question, Ms. Jones. There's been a lot of talk today on drug use, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You stated and testified today that you never have and don't use any other drugs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it that you have a conviction for falsifying a drug test from 2 years ago?
Because I was using marijuana and I didn't know I had to go to see my probation officer and I didn't want to get in trouble.
Okay. You're aware marijuana is a drug that is not legal in this state.
Yes, and I just
Okay.
like I told everybody else I smoked marijuana, but that was it.
Okay. But to say you don't use drugs is not correct because you're admitting to using drugs and you have a conviction for falsifying drug tests, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why should we believe now that you have no idea how meth and cocaine got in your system when you have a conviction for lying about drug tests?
Because I have not smoked marijuana for 2 years now.
Okay.
And I've been clean since then. Since then, I have not been around no marijuana use or anything, and I don't know what cocaine feel like, don't know what it look like, or methamphetamines. I don't know nothing about those. I know about marijuana itself.
Okay.
And if I was to go back and do a drug,
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
Okay, I'll sustain.
I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. Kadisha, just to clarify, when you say I don't do any drugs, are you meaning the hard drugs
Yes,
as
ma'am.
opposed to marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you're aware that marijuana is technically still considered a drug and it is illegal in the state of Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
But in your mind, you're thinking whenever they say drugs, you're thinking of hard drugs. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass witness.
Ms. Naranjo, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Mickelson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill?
Questions?
All right, Ms. Ball?
No further questions, Your Honor.
During the pendency of this case, and this is really going to be, I guess, more of a question for Mr. Ivy, but during the pendency of this case, have we had any positive screens for marijuana
Yes, ma'am.
early on?
There was a positive hair follicle for marijuana in September of 2024 and then in December of 2024.
Okay. So Ms. Johns, how do you explain that if you haven't used marijuana in 2 years?
Because that when I told her when I messed up my ankle, that was the last time I used marijuana, and it was still in my system. And Christina was making me do drug tests to see the levels, see if the levels go low. And that's the only reason why that was in my system still. I have not used since then.
Since when, though?
When did I miss my ankle? July?
Okay, you can't ask anybody for answers to what I'm asking you. You just tell me what
July.
you know.
No, July. On my daughter's birthday, my daughter's 12th birthday.
2024?
Yes. I'm counting a whole lot. I'm thinking, I'm forgetting that this is 2025. I'm thinking 2023. 2023, yeah. But no, it was just last year in July. My bad.
All right. Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Ms. Johns?
One other question, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, it was just brought up that you did have positive hair follicles for marijuana at the beginning of the case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that also in May of last year, your that same hair follicle had methamphetamines in it too?
Yes, and that was when I was in Houston, and that's when the incident happened in Beaumont. All of that happened in Beaumont, and when I came down here, I was clean when I made it back down here May 8th. When they asked for a drug test, I went and did that drug test, and that was all because of that. But I have just barely came back and started working May 10th at home health care.
I'll pass
So-
it on, Your Honor.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Ms. Johns?
No further questions. Your Honor.
All right then, Mr. Trout, any other witnesses?
No witnesses at this time, Your Honor.
Does the department rest?
Department rest.
Okay, Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Ms. Johns, please.
All right, Ms. Johns, go ahead and unmute. You're still under oath. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kadisha, you're the mother, the subject of the 3 children, the subject of this suit, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you've heard all the testimony today, did you hear everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and since the beginning of this case, it began down in Beaumont,
Yes.
and then you moved back to Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you move back to Amarillo?
Because when I went down there, I was trying to get a better life. I was trying to go to school and everything. But I didn't have only had like 1 or 2 people down there that I actually knew that was family. And I didn't have like a bigger support system. So I came back to Amarillo because I know my way around and I have a support system down here.
Okay, and at the beginning of this case, you had some mental health issues, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And as part of your service plan, you were sent to TPC to work on your mental health, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you comply with that service?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so do you see a psychiatrist regularly
Um,
or a doctor?
yes.
Okay, and they give you prescription medication, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you take that medication as prescribed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and have you given a copy of your prescriptions to the department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you take, and I know that we've gone over this, but do you take any other over-the-counter or otherwise medications?
No, just like pain medications over the counter, like a cough medicine or stuff like that. But other than that, I take my prescriptions that I'm prescribed.
Okay, so if you're taking over-the-counter medications, what types of over-the-counter medications are you taking?
I'm taking like pain medications like ibuprofen, Advil, Tylenol, stuff like that. Vicks to help with my breathing. Robitussin, NyQuil, like stuff like that to help with colds. Just mainly pain and cold medications, decongestants.
Okay, and so far as your prescription medications, what is your understanding about how your prescriptions could affect your drug screens?
Because when he told me I had a high level of methamphetamines, I've been only taking my medication. So, and it started when I started taking, I got a different dosage, a higher dosage in July. So that's the only other option because I don't
To
be.
be honest, speculation.
Sustained.
I'm just gonna ask, what is your understanding about whether your medications can affect your drug screens? Do you have any understanding about that?
Yes,
Okay, what is your understanding?
that basically like I can test positive for something with my medications.
Okay, now did you ever get a note from your doctor about that?
My doctor is not a in-person doctor. My doctor is online. I go to TPC, they put me in a room and she shows up on a computer screen.
Okay, and so from there, I guess you just go fill your prescriptions?
She sends them, she has the nurse send them to United on the Amarillo Boulevard, East Amarillo Boulevard.
Okay. Now, regarding, I think that we've covered that you've completed all the services that the department asked you to do other than regular employment and housing. Is that what you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so when it comes to housing, let's talk about the attempts that you've made to secure housing. What are the types of things that you've done to attempt to secure housing?
I done got on HUD. I tried to go to a city HUD that I used to be on, try to figure out stuff with them. They telling me I have to pay them $700, which I did. I done went to low income apartments. I done called Face City Mission, Martha's Home, like all of these type of shelters and house places, and they all filled up, and you have to be on the waiting list. So I tried everything. I even went to the workforce and tried to get help from them.
Okay. And then whenever it comes to, which we've covered this already, and I'm sorry, but whenever it comes to employment, you've submitted applications to various places.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're hoping to get employment and you're making attempts to get employment. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about visitation with the kids, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's certain things that we're not necessarily going to get into. And if we get into them, I think the judge is probably going to, or maybe the ad litem is going to stop us, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You have visitation with all three of your kids.
Yes.
And how does your visitation work? It's 2 hours every week.
Yes. And Neriah comes in person. Christopher and Zion comes on Zoom.
Okay. And you said also your older daughter is in those visits as well.
Yes, she comes. Yes.
Okay. And do you enjoy your visits with your kids?
Yes, I do a lot.
And what types of things do you guys do or discuss during your visits?
I bring them food, so I feed them and everything. I ask them how their day is, how is school. Me and Neriah, sometimes Christopher don't last until like 7:15 because he wants to be in person. But when I do talk to him, I'll be like, "Oh, well, what are you doing?" He'll show me his toys that he have. And I'll be like, "Oh, how was school? Are you tired?" He'll tell me he's tired. And then when he gets off, I say, "I love you, and I will talk to you next week." So he gets off, and it's just Neriah and Zion and my oldest daughter. So I sit there and let my oldest daughter and Neriah interact with each other. And I sit there and I talk to Zion. And Zion, I tell her how beautiful she is and how's her day and if she's been having accidents and what is she doing to prevent them, just little stuff, trying to get background on her and see how her day was going and how was school and what she ate for lunch and dinner and for breakfast. She'll tell me, and then she'll show me the stuffies that I had gave her when she was here. And then I tell her I like her hair and stuff.
Okay, so you feel like those interactions are positive?
Yes, very positive.
Do you think they're beneficial for the children?
Yes,
Do you think the kids enjoy that time with you?
yes, a lot.
Okay. If the kids were potentially placed closer, do you think the kids would benefit from in-person visits with you so long as, the department was okay with that?
Yes,
And do you think they would benefit from in-person interactions with each other?
yes,
You've heard that there is a home study pending on your aunt. Is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
Do you think that it would be best for Neriah to be placed with your aunt?
Yes, because my oldest daughter's there and they've been together. They've been in the same house together with that same aunt.
So she's been placed with your aunt before, or she's lived with your aunt before.
Yes,
So that would be a good spot for her.
yes,
Okay. And so far as the two younger ones, you currently live with your mom, is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
And you've lived with your mom in the past as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have the two younger children lived with your mom in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
How how often or for how long have they lived with your mom, would you guess?
Basically, since when I first had Xeon, we stayed with my mom. And then when Christopher was like 1 or 2, we stayed with my mom.
Okay, so they've had lots of past contact with your mom.
Yes,
And do you think that she would be a safe person for them to be placed with?
of course.
Okay.
She's had them before by herself also.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I have had a CPS case in the past where I had to go to stay at the downtown women's center. And because I felt like it was too small, her apartment was too small. The caseworker sent both of my kids over there to stay with her, and I told them that they can stay over there with her while I go stay at the downtown women's center to get help.
Okay, so the children have been, she's been an approved placement for CPS in the past.
Yes,
Okay.
and each place was a 1-bedroom.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask is what size of apartment was it?
It was how our apartment is now. It wasn't that big. It was big living room, 1-bedroom, bathroom, everything. It was just the same size as where we live in now.
Okay. Stepping back a little bit, do you feel like since the beginning of this case, you've learned anything from the services you've worked?
Yes, I learned a lot. I really have.
Do you feel like what types of things have you learned from like the parenting classes?
Parenting classes, I didn't learn about the way I treat my kids, make sure my kids are safe, protected. Loved.
And you got some mental health services through the department. Do you feel like those have helped you?
Yes, my medication helps me a lot too. So,
okay. Do you feel like the other classes that you completed have helped you, improve and become a better parent?
yes. Especially the one that I had to take. It was an all-day class, and for my intrusive thoughts, basically saying something and saying I'm not going to do it, that helped me a lot. Like, I don't do that no more.
The rational behavior training class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you think if, say, the department was named permanent managing conservator and you were named possessory conservator, you would be willing to continue to do whatever the department asked you to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be cooperative with them and comply with any classes or any therapy or anything that they asked of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be willing to go drug screen for them regularly?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you provide them a regular copy of your prescriptions?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you continue to seek employment and once you get employment, send them over proof of your pay stubs?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you continue to seek housing and then once you get housing, you would allow them into your home to observe it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that it's in the best interest of your children for you to be named a possessory conservator while the department works on placing your kids with your family?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think that it would actually be against their best interest for them to not be able to visit with you anymore?
No, I think, no.
Let me withdraw the question. That was a terribly worded question.
All right, we'll let you withdraw it and start over.
Let me put a few more double negatives in it. Do you think it's in the best interest of your children for you to be able to continue to see them?
Yes.
Do you think that it would actually be contrary to their welfare for your rights to be terminated and you no longer be able to visit with them?
No.
It would be contrary to their welfare if they could no longer see you. Do you agree with that?
What is that? Can you explain?
It would actually be bad for them if they could not see you anymore.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, any questions?
Just a few, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, you'd mentioned that you had a prior CPS case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You've actually had quite a few investigations over the years with CPS, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dating all the way back to about 2016?
Yes, but in
Oh.
2000,
So back to 2016, you've had many run-ins with CPS over the years.
yes.
Okay. Do you think it's in your children's best interest for CPS to keep having to be involved with you and your children?
No.
Do you think it's in your children's best interest to constantly be moving from your mother to great aunt to you, back to your mother, around to all family members?
Yes, they've been with these same family members. So yes, I think
So,
that's
so
okay.
you think it's in their best interest to keep moving homes and not have a stable home to live in?
No.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Hang on, getting an alarm. Are y'all getting this?
Attention, please.
Just a minute.
Do
Okay.
not use the elevator.
We have to evacuate the building. I'm just gonna leave y'all right here and we'll go see what it's all about. Okay, I could not hear because we had an alarm going off, so I couldn't hear the last things that were asked or said. My apologies.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Judy, I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's he was asking about run-ins with CPS over the years from 2016. So question, do you think it's in your children's best interest for CPS to keep having to be involved with you and your children? Answer no. Question, do you think it's in your children's best interest to constantly be moving from your mother to great aunt to you, back to your mother, around to all family members? Answer, yes, they've been with the same family members, so yes, I think that's okay. Question, so you think it's in their best interest to keep moving homes and not have a stable home to live in? Answer, no. And then he passed the witness.
Okay. All right, then, I think where we are. Okay, anybody else have any further questions?
Just a quick clarification.
Okay, go right ahead.
Ms. Johns, do you consider your aunt and your mother to be stable housing for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
So if the children were placed with your family, they'd also be placed together, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that it's in their best interest for the children to be placed away from each other? Separately,
No.
like in the three
No.
different,
No.
you think it would be better if they were placed together near each other so they could see each other face to face?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, anybody else have any further questions for Ms. Johns?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Ms. Kincaid, any further witnesses today?
You're muted, Savannah.
I'm sorry, I was clicking back and forth. May I briefly recall Mr. Ivy?
You certainly may. Mr. Ivy, you're still under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may go right ahead.
Mr. Ivy, does the department or St. Francis have an expert that they consult with on drug screens when they have a question about that?
Not that I'm aware of, ma'am. Since I've I've worked here since January, and I don't believe we have an expert that works for us.
Is there an expert that you consult with whenever it comes to questions of drug screens and what can potentially create a false positive?
We can call the testing facility.
Okay.
And
There's no
they'll-
one in St. Francis or the department or anyone that's contracted that you can consult with to discuss whether prescription medications can create a false positive.
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
Okay, I'll pass witness.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ivy?
I'll just clarify on that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Ivy, if there is somebody at the Department of St. Francis you're not aware of,
Yes.
you've never had to deal with anybody or call anybody in regards to that?
No, sir.
Okay. If, I know we've talked a lot about placement of the children and permanency of the children. If parents' rights are terminated, it opens up other ways to find permanent placement for the children. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And those are, you mentioned them earlier, I believe, tiers and some other situations where there would be possibly other places maybe that all children could go to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we can't explore those at this point right now. Is that what you're saying?
No, sir. The only options we can explore is family.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness, Shauna.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kincaid, any other witnesses?
Yes, I'd like to call Miss John's mother, Leticia Herring.
All right. Ms. Herring?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Will you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Kincaid, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name for the record?
Leticia R. Henry.
Okay, and can you spell your first name?
Latisha.
And spell your last name?
Henry.
Thank you. And you're the maternal grandmother to the 3 kids, the subject of this suit. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you've known these kiddos their whole lives. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in the past, have the children lived with you?
Yes. Twice.
Okay. And for how long did the kids live with you?
For probably about 6, 7, 8 months.
Okay. And were you comfortable being a placement for them?
Yes, always.
Okay. And just to clarify, which kiddos lived with you?
Christopher and Zion.
Okay. And would you be comfortable if the children were placed with you again?
Yes, I would. I would take all of them.
Okay. In the past, were the children placed with you in an apartment that was a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yes.
And was that approved by CPS?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Now, if say the department this time says, no, we need a bigger place after all the background checks and everything, would you be willing to move to a bigger place?
Yes, I would.
Okay. And so far as Kadisha, has she been living with you since this case has started?
On and off, yes.
Okay. How long has she lived with you during this instance?
Almost about 4 months.
Okay. And do you have the opportunity to observe Kadisha day to day?
Yes.
Okay. And have you observed any instances where you feel like she is intoxicated or high on anything?
No, because I'm not allowing it.
Okay. But have you ever come home and thought that maybe she was using any kind of substance?
No.
Okay. Do you know if she is trying to get employment?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because I push her towards it too, because she also she can't stay with me and not have employment.
Okay. And what types of things make you think that she's looking for employment?
Well, she leaves, she calls around. I see her sit here and she calls, Indeed, put in applications because I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions.
Okay. Have you seen any of the applications?
No, but I have known for her to go to the jobs because a lot of the jobs is a person I know or she knows or a family member.
Okay. Whenever it comes to you, you have a pretty, would you say that you have a good relationship with the kiddos?
Yes. I'm
And-
the authority person in the whole family.
Okay. And do you think the kids would benefit from contact with you?
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel like the kids benefit from contact with their mom?
Yes.
Do you feel like they benefit from contact with each other?
Yes.
Now, they're currently placed in 3 separate places. Do you think it would be better if they could actually have face-to-face contact with each other?
Yeah. Face
you
to face. Go ahead, my bad.
I'm sorry. And do you think it would be better for the kids if they could actually have face-to-face contact with their mom, as long as she's clean and sober?
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to do a home study and cooperate with any requirements or requests the department has for you?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever been under the impression that there was going to be a home study done on you in the past?
Twice, yes.
Okay. Tell me about the first time. Who was
When
that?
she was still in Beaumont, I think it was Courtney.
Yes.
But it never did happen. I even spoke to her on the phone, but it never happened. And then with Christina, it never happened. And I was sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Okay. And one of the reasons that's an issue is that if you want to change your HUD housing, you have to notify them that you need a bigger place. Is that right?
Yes. And the kids would have to be with me.
Okay.
So as far as HUD, but they have been on my HUD list before.
Okay. And have you ever asked Mr. Ivy about a home study?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How did that go?
He said he's gonna send they're supposed to come out here and do a home study. I don't know when. It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
And he said something about my background.
Okay. But you're willing to be placement for 2 of the kids or all 3 of the kids?
I would take all 3 of them.
Okay. But if you were placement for the younger 2, would you be willing to make sure that they get to see their older siblings?
Oh yeah. Because my oldest, Creelan, she comes to see me every week. She even spends the weekends with me.
Okay. So they would get to see each other really regularly if they were with you?
Yes.
Okay. And if they ultimately, do you think, based on having the relationship you have with the kids and observing the way that they interact with their mom, do you think that it would be bad for the children for them to not be able to have visits with their mom?
Yes, it would be. That's why they're acting out now.
Okay. And if you were to be placement for the children, if you ever felt like Kadisha had run into an issue with mental health or potentially drug use, would you protect the children from her?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, you have any questions?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Ms. Henry, you stated that the children have lived with you a few times.
Yes.
Why were they living with you during those times?
First time my daughter had got into whatever it was, and she was living with one of her old friends. They all got put out, so she needed somewhere to stay. And I was like, the kids could stay with me, but she would have to go to a shelter to better herself. And I took the kids, CPS brought them, they came and did a home, and they left them with me the second time. Is with the same friend, and she had to go to jail, and they brought them to my house when I stayed on Nelson, and that was the last time. And that's when I had put her and her kids on my hood. The CPS was going to help me get to a bigger place as far as paying the deposit, but it never fell through. Her caseworker just wasn't doing her job, and she quit.
Objection on that last statement, Your Honor. That's speculation.
Sustained.
Ms. Henry, I noticed each time you mentioned that, you said Kadisha was with one of her friends. Are you blaming her friends, or do you blame Kadisha?
Kadisha is responsible for her own responsibilities.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
You understand a home study, one of the reasons a home study right now can't be done is because Kadisha lives with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the concerns in this case are not from anything you did or the children did, it's from Kadisha's actions.
Yes.
Okay. And you understand the department at this time is asking for termination due to, we have not seen any changes in her behaviors. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Naranjo, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson,
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill?
No, ma'am.
All right, and Ms. Avalla?
I have no questions at this time.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kincaid, anything further?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, Ms. Naranjo.
I have no witnesses, Your Honor. I'll rest.
Hey, Mr. Michelson
No witnesses, I rest, Your Honor.
and Mr. Hill?
Rest, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Avalla.
No witnesses, I rest.
Okay, Ms. Avalla, do you have a recommendation to make?
I do, Your Honor. I understand the concerns that St. Francis has in terms of the drug screens. I am concerned about those recent ones myself. I've worked with these children for a long time, and have gotten to meet with them in person when I'm able to, have been able to Zoom with them regularly. I do feel that there has been some progress made in this case. Do I think that it is safe to return these kids to mom right now? No, I don't. The kids themselves have some issues that they need to work through. I know that we are all under an obligation to try to reach permanency for the children as quickly as we can, and have that be a healthy situation for the kids. Unfortunately, I think this is a case that doesn't quite fit into our normal timeline. I do think it will take longer for the kids to be okay, and there's still more that mom needs to do. However, I do think that the fastest way to permanency for these kids is to continue working with this family to come up with some sort of family placement, and to continue to work with mom. I hope that we are able to do that. I believe that it would be pretty devastating to all three of the kids at this point, to have mom's rights terminated. All of them have expressed to me, that contact with mom is very helpful. They are definitely bonded with her. I do think we need to have some long meetings about how we can look at families and work together to find some placements. But the kids several of them are not ready yet for a change in placement, but hopefully soon. So it's my recommendation that we look at PMC to St. Francis and continue working with mom with a structured family plan. And I do believe that's in the best interest of the kids.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any recommendation about the fathers, Ms. Avalla?
Your Honor, if the court is inclined to terminate on mom, then it absolutely would be in the best interest to also terminate on the fathers. However, if Your Honor is not inclined to terminate on mom, then I don't think it's in the best interest at this point to terminate on the fathers, as we continue working with the family.
Your Honor, if I may,
Certainly.
the department understands where Ms. Avalla is coming from and where the attorneys are coming from on this case. Through the testimony today, I think the court has seen we're dealing with a situation, even by mom's testimony. CPS has been involved in their life for almost 10 years now, at least from the report I'm seeing, for 10 years. People have tried working with mom. We keep ending up back here. We have been working with mom for 1.5 years now, and we're still at the same spot that we started with at the beginning, with unknown drugs that mom states she doesn't know how it got in her system, even though there are multiple drug screens throughout the life of this case. Termination at this time does not prevent still looking at family members. I think we're still under a duty to do that if we have family members that will be willing and cooperate to try to keep the children together, if that is possible. The fathers in this case they all know about the case. None of them have done anything. They have done everything to avoid being involved in this case. So I do think it's in the children's best interest to terminate the fathers. As to mom, I also believe it's in the best interest to terminate, based upon the fact that mom has not made any changes. She has stability in and out of mom's house multiple times in this case, during this case alone. We're still having positive drug screens that every time one comes up, a new drug is on it. Mom is stating she doesn't know where those come from because she doesn't use them, yet she's got convictions for falsifying drug tests. I don't know that we have made any headway with mom and the changes that need to be made in order to keep these children safe and to give them a stable living environment. And I don't know if you give us 4 years on this case that we're going to get there with her, as we've had 9 years worth of CPS involvement and no changes, it appears. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
If
want
I
to
may,
hear
Your
that
Honor,
argument?
if I may.
Sure.
Your Honor, Miss Johnson, I think she's completed all of the services that have been asked of her so far as therapeutic recommendations, mental health recommendations. She's been cooperative with the department. As we are probably all aware, addiction is a difficult thing. She still maintains that, the recent issues are a result of a prescription medication. It's something that could be looked into further to determine whether there's accuracy in that or not. But regardless of, some of the issues that she continues to have, the children benefit from being able to have contact with her. And if the department is named permanent managing conservator, they can regulate that. If they feel like there's an unsafe situation, they can always put her on Zoom with all three of the children. And if she makes progress and they're happy with how she's doing, then, you know, if the kids are moved to Amarillo, they can all have in person together. There are a lot of avenues to, you know, support the kids and their best interest, and the department would obviously be able to restrict or expand her visitation or even placement in the future if needed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kincaid. Anybody else have anything?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, because I've got lots and lots of people waiting out there for another hearing, I will let everybody know my ruling. I want to take some time to think about all this, look back through my notes. So I'm not ready to render at this moment, and I will communicate my ruling to all the attorneys via email. And we'll try very hard to have that done, you know, no later than sometime tomorrow. Could even be later this afternoon, but we'll see how long our next case goes. All right, I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.